it. But it is possible to get those red Igors to be randomized into something else, allowing you to finish Eastern without the bow. Pod, however, will still need it because of that statue you need to shoot. And we're off. We got a Power Glove in the Sanctuary on Malle's side. The other 3 runners opting starting Link's house and getting a red rupee.
Looks like Malle is going to take that Power Glove and immediately check. No, he's not going to go to the bottom back of escape.
I've almost done the same thing before. He thought about it because it's like, it makes sense. And you're like, oh, I got the Power Glove. Let's go do escape. But until you have a bomb to blow up in that wall, you're just going to fall down there and be feeling like a doofus.
He's going to instead up to the Houlihan room.
Speaking of bombs, we have bombs. We have 4 bombs, actually, for our tree pull there, which each of the other 3 players opted to do. And then more bombs in that chest next to Uncle.
Malle checking his house, picking up some red rubies. Broke open the piggy bank, had his life savings.
Yeah, we have Dragonmaster and SaltyPhry opting to go to Sanctuary. So Malle heading over to Link's house, and Ack as well going to Sanctuary. So the players kind of just went to the other starting location. And then those other 3 players that just started in Sanctuary getting that Power Glove, deciding they have plenty of bombs. They'll see what's in Escape here. Only finding a lamp. And then that pesky key and maps. Only 1 item in the back of Escape.
Well, the key, they can check the dark chest in here after they get around. Yeah.
SaltyPhry opting to do that. Could be a little bit tricky depending on what random enemies you get here. It looks like it's going to be on the Stealthos that he's trying to kill for his bomb.
Yeah, that's where the key is. It's going to be tricky killing him with just bombs.
Yeah, it's just that random movement. And I think he had a little bit extra health, because I thought he hit him once.
It looks like he ran out of bombs, decided to save and quit.
Yeah, probably opting to come back later. Not worth spending all that time to check that one location.
Meanwhile, Malle finding a heart container at the race game.
Yeah, he opted to grab that. Early on, an extra heart is nice. We have a Triforce piece in the Lumberjack Cave. So, if any of our players opt to go through the trouble of taking down Aghanim, if they find the boots as well, they can go grab that. Unfortunately, that's pretty inconvenient Triforce piece to go out of your way to get.
Got the blue mail in the back of the tavern there.
We have Malle picking up some glitchy-looking bombs from the shop there. The Enemizer can kind of garble some of the sprites a little bit. And then a Quake Medallion in the Thieves' Hut for Dragonmaster.
Looks like our cuckoos have turned into blue guards. And Malle picking up a Triforce piece.
That's our first one of the race so far on stream. Cool, those... I always forget that those chickens get randomized. Those guards can be... Depending on what you get there, if you get a few guards like that, they can be quite the annoyance.
Answer a question in chat. Yes, you need to pick up 30 out of a possible 40 Triforce pieces for your run to end.
Yeah, so several of the kind of the quote-unquote trash items in the randomizer. A lot of your red rupees, a lot of your just basic bombs and arrows, and your capacity upgrades have been replaced by Triforce pieces.
Speaking of which, Malle picking up a Moon Pearl and 2 more Triforce pieces in the bottom of the well.
Yeah, Kakariko villagers just dropping all their valuables down that well.
It's not like you need the most powerful item in the universe.
So that does mean once all our players pick up that Moon Pearl, coupled with that Power Glove, we are only one item away from Dark World access, either the next glove upgrade or the hammer. That's pretty often one of your first goals in a randomizer run is to get that Dark World access, allowing you just a lot more options, opening up that whole other world.
And it would be nice to get the hammer here. They can just go straight in and full clear Thieves Town, depending on what the boss is.
Yeah, definitely. The hammer is a highly prized item in a randomizer run. Just mentioned it can give you that part of that access to the Dark World, as well as just doubling as a very powerful weapon, doing tempered sword level damage. Ooh, we have a spill on SaltyPhry's side, getting bodied by those guards that replaced those chickens in the chicken coop house, became a guardhouse. They did a lot of damage on him real quick. That's kind of what I was mentioning earlier, that depending on what you get there, they can cause a lot of trouble.
Was that a boomerang at the mushroom spot?
Yes, it was. We got Malle heading up, finishing up his reverse direction through the Kakariko compared to the other players.
Yeah, he's getting his bad news. Possible action required should he bother to do it.
Yeah, I'd say could be safe to assume that none of our players will opt to do Aghanim, at least not specifically for the Triforce piece.
Oh no. They may still need it for Dark World access.
Yeah, if they have to do Aghanim anyway, then that Triforce piece there is kind of a bonus. Otherwise, they're just gonna accept that it's one piece that they're not gonna grab.
It's like we're gonna see boomerang strats for the Dark Room for the Old Man's Cave going up to Death Mountain.
And Salty making his way into that guardhouse again, managing to sneak past the guards and grabbing his fourth Triforce piece on the bombable wall there. I mean, Malle inserting that old man home, getting a little piece of love. Low on health, he's gonna pop in there, talk to him, and get full health, as these boulders can still be deadly in Enemizer.
Yeah, it looked like he got hit by one, but he was still in invincibility frames from the old man going into his house. It's like Dragonmaster is going to make the South Shore play here. Go check out the dam and Mini Moldorm Cave, see what surprises lurk in there.
And there is our fifth Triforce piece in Spectacle Rock Cave there. It's a nice, pleasant color palette into that cave.
Yeah, very relaxing.
It's another side effect of the Enemizer. It's not a required option, but you can opt to randomize the color palettes of the various caves and dungeons. Malle picking up that Triforce piece, saving and quitting. Oh, and then we have a mirror for Dragonmaster and SaltyPhry after draining that dam.
Yeah, we're getting a little sync there on the right side. Both going to go check out Mini Moldorm Cave.
We have a lot of fire obstacles on the way here. So that mirror, I think, is it's an unsung hero of a randomizer run. It's a really nice item to find early on. It helps a lot in your routing, allowing you to quickly return to the beginning of dungeons. as well as kind of more efficiently group together Light World and Dark World locations. Both Dragon and Salty popping into that mini Moldorm cave, not liking what they saw for the randomized enemies, and deciding that they'll come back when they have a little bit better weaponry to take out the enemies inside. Malle getting trolled.
Goodness.
Yeah, you can also add the option to... Well, the game already has the ability to randomly pop up guards under bushes. Enemizer can randomize that as well, and so poor Malle picking up 2 bushes back to back with those blue hardhead beetles under him.
And while Dragonmaster expertly dodging the spike rollers to go check out the ice cave and get a little bit of love.
Yeah, it's a long trip for such an inconsequential item, but like I said, you're definitely looking for any kind of actual weapon at this point. Kind of relying solely on bombs is difficult enough, but when you have to deal with randomized enemies, you don't know what they're going to be. You might not be as prepared for them as you are, say, like a normal guard in that Hyrule room that Malle just went through. Oh no. We got a cape and a net, and I believe there's a piece of heart behind Saucerella here on SaltyPhry's stream. Dragonmaster right behind him. That cape could be bad news.
Yeah, cape plus bug net spells Agnum all day long.
Yeah, they already have the lantern, but now they have the cape. If they find a sword, that does make Aghanim impossible by logic. And as mentioned, if no one finds another glove upgrade or the hammer, that's going to be their way into the Dark World. It looked like it was the ice rod on Malle's screen. It was one of the rods.
That's what I saw. Looked like ice.
Dragonmaster cleverly using that cape he just picked up to sneak past the Helmosaur on his way to Eastern. Oh, and there's the other invincibility item for Malle there. Finding himself that Cane of Burna.
Looks like we're switching out Activoker for another runner. Malle is going to do the Death Warp strats to get back to the beginning of Escape here.
Yeah, meanwhile, Dragon and Salty kind of along the same path here. Dragon just several seconds behind him. Exploring into Eastern, they found a Triforce piece in that first chest there. Big key over on the right side. That lamp in hand, Salty probably going to push through to the end of this. Well, probably not the boss, given that they don't have a weapon, but at least check the remaining chests here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's having a little bit of trouble getting the speed strats, killing the Stalfos before they appear.
Yeah, it seems they have a little bit more health than normal. That they're not dying to a single pot throw.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I mentioned, the Enemizer can randomize enemy health and damage to varying degrees.
Like Malle taking a death to, they're called P-hats in this version.
Oh, the things that come out of the ground?
Yeah, maybe not P-hats.
I think they're levers, I believe. I'm not sure. But we have Furaime taking over that bottom left spot. So unfortunately, Ak apparently had some internet issues or something. He timed out of the race channel. So we have Furaime on there, and he is entering Tower of Hera, finding a Triforce piece for that first item.
And that'll be the 7th one we've seen, I believe.
That sounds... yeah, that sounds right.
Looks like he saw that Power Glove and Mirror and decided to go straight to Hera rather than opt and do the Eastern play.
Yeah, kind of like this. Hera can be required to logic, even if you only have bombs for your weapon. The issue here is, in Enemizer, can be, as I mentioned earlier, kind of hard to deal with some of these rooms. Like, I'm sure Furaime's used to doing this room, or very capable of doing this room with just bombs in a normal randomizer. But these Stealthos and these jellyfish here seem to have extra health, and it's just taking a little bit of time to get through this room.
I'm pretty sure the way it works is that the enemy has the same health as the enemy that it replaces, and the beetles have a lot of health. Well, one bottle's not killing them, so maybe not.
I know it's you can. I'm not sure what setting it's set to. Like I said, imagine it's not anything overly difficult, but they definitely do have some variance in their health and damage based on the settings when the seed was made.
Poor mini Moldorm stuck in the wall.
Oh, now we have Malle hopping into the mini Moldorm cave. Dragonmaster and Salty already were here earlier. Saw a pair of Gibdos and a pair of Moldorms. Decided that was going to be too much of a pain to do at that time. And we're seeing kind of why. Again, see, there's the Moldorm taking a couple bombs. For the randomized health, it's very hard to know how many bombs it's going to take. Yeah, Malle opting to leave.
Been a very interesting seed so far. Very defensive, not very offensive so far.
Yeah, they're really hurting in the weapon department. Now we have some thieves here in this middle room of Hera, this middle floor. Yes, these can be in the randomized enemy pool, and yes, they're even more annoying when they appear in dungeons.
Got a map check done on SaltyPhry's side. Looks like crystals 5 and 6 were at Evestown and Pod. I didn't catch the rest.
No, the players cannot do Moldorm unless they find either the hammer or a sword. Those are the only weapons that will actually do damage to Moldorm. Again, it's just really the hunt for an actual weapon at this point. It could be with 5 items behind that mini Moldorm cave. There easily could be something there, but that's gonna be a hard thing to get through unless they find something.
Definitely could be a sword waiting for him back there. That would spell Aghanim.
I don't believe we've seen a sick kid check, because I think Malle's the only one with a bottle so far. And then we also have Zora on the table. I believe Aghanom's cave.
Yeah.
We're getting spread a little thin on options.
Nobody's gone westward into the desert yet, seeing as they don't have any book, and it's kind of out of the way just to go check one item.
Yeah, definitely. Typically not something a player will opt to do until they're a little more desperate. We have Salty making his way up Hera here. Falling down on purpose, try to respawn these pots. With these 2 pots, I think the bombs he has in hand, he might just have enough damage to take out this jelly. Oh, I don't think he's got enough. I think he needed to hit both of them with both bombs.
Yeah, it looks
That's
like
unfortunate.
each mini octopus there taking 2 bombs to kill.
So he's just gonna have to, unfortunately, mirror out and head somewhere else for the time being. We got Dragonmaster on his Hera ascent now as well.
Malle picking up his 6th Triforce piece in Eastern Palace. Furaime is still in the lead with 7. Tied with Dragonmaster.
Yeah, I imagine they both have the same Triforce pieces at this point. Now we have SaltyPhry, so including heading up to do this front half of escape on his side as well. Dragonmaster might be hot on his heels. He might be going over here to pick up some bombs first. Furaime taking out that Hinox. 1 bomb. So weapons that have certain special damage properties still apply. So Hinoxes always die to 1 bomb. Enemies that die to a single hook shot kill should still do that regardless of their HP.
Looks like each of our runners are kind of already checking places that everybody else has already checked. What do you think the play would be here? Would you fake flippers and go up and check Zora? Try to farm some rupees?
Thing is, they're kind of short on money. So Furaime down there has got 221. Malle's got 238. The other 2 players at double digits. I know Malle did Houlihan at the start, right?
Right.
We didn't see Furaime, so maybe. But I imagine he probably did it early on if they have about the same amount of money, which means they kind of don't have a good money farming strategy for Zora.
Well, fake flippers would net you.
Would net them
at least 3 items.
3 items and a little bit of knowledge on that Zora ledge item. But those 3 would be sequence breaking items, and I mean they very well could pay off. We've seen it before. You might find like a bow or a hammer or just a weapon of any kind. I would like to see one of our runners head over to Sick Kid. Malle, Furaime picking up that bottle and escape that SaltyPhry and Dragonmaster are about to pick up as well. Who knows? It might be the best call to do the fake flippers in terms of just the raw amount of items that would be easily accessible.
At the very least, if they do get a weapon of some import, they can go and do mini Moldorm Cave and pick up whatever's waiting for them behind there. It's probably looking like it's going to be a small sword.
Yeah, it's definitely, at this point, it's looking like it's very likely there's something back there. There's another map check. We have 5 and 6 at Thieves and Pod.
Red pendant at Skull Woods, and the rest are all crystals.
Yep. Alright, we got another saving clip from Furaime. He's heading south. So yeah, I imagine he's going to do the fake flippers.
He can get the water walking glitch with the Moon Pearl and so going in and out of the Waterfall Fairy Cave.
Yeah, probably a good idea. He might be going in here for a rematch against these Gibdos.
He's got a bit of
magic
weapon.
That's actually probably the best thing you could do. Throwing a frozen enemy does a lot of damage, just like throwing like a pot at an enemy.
Ice Rod one-shotting the mini Moldorm there. He may be the first to see what's behind here. Going through his items, opting to use bombs.
Nice. This is actually really cool. I'm just
I like this.
enthralled. He Yeah, using
Knocking
that,
the last
that
one
bomb
into the hole.
knockback. That was really, really clever, really good on his part. Now we're gonna see if it was worth the trouble. Couple pieces of heart, some money, a big
Oh
piece
my
of heart, and another
goodness.
piece of heart. So you look, there's like 3 pieces of heart, a heart container, and like 100 rupees. So
I think the only play they have left is Agnes Cave and Zora here.
surprisingly, nothing, yeah, nothing of value back there.
Looks like he's gonna opt to fake flippers and go and head up that way.
Yeah, I imagine he saw his ice cave over here. Yeah, Furaime would. It's not typically something you would check early on, so it makes a lot of sense. Come over here, he'll pop in, check the ice cave for an item, and then fake
Good.
flippers, check 3 more.
Sick and giving away his heart.
Showing a bit of love for visiting him while he's feeling ill, but well, a little bit of health is always appreciated. I'm sure all these runners are just like, where is a dang weapon?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what they want to see right now.
To answer your question in chat, Ega 1 is not a play until we find a sword. So ideally, the runners are probably hoping to find the hammer so that they can get Dark World access that way. But if they do find a sword, that will make Ega 1 an option, which will give them Dark World access.
Right, just the net alone won't give you access to Aghanim. I mean, you're going to need the sword to slash the curtains behind the bed there.
Yeah, so you need either the Master Sword to be able to bypass that barrier to get inside, or the cape to go under it, and then a sword to slash the curtains at the end.
I'm having a little trouble lining up that pixel perfect spot cause a transition when you jump into the water.
There's a turtle just walking around on the water. Yeah, lining up that bomb jump, or not bomb jump, the fake flipper transition there can be a little difficult, particularly when you don't have like a sword or anything. You can use like a bomb to knock you into the screen transition, which can be very helpful. Works every time.
Oh, this is quite deadly here with the...
Yep. Oh, no.
He's going to be soft logging. You'll have to save and quit.
Yeah, there's a save and quit.
That's unfortunate.
Had to wait for a little bit so he could get the save and quit menu up. Yeah, that's a tricky obstacle to avoid without flippers. So,
for those that didn't know, while you're in the fake flipper state, normally in a normal randomizer, they have it set so if you take damage, you don't end up soft locking, you just die. But it looks like here you end up soft locking and have to save and quit. Malle is going to be checking Agina's cave. It looks like he's going to be the first to do so, I believe.
yeah, and we got dragonmaster right on his tail, and it's another Triforce piece. What is going on here? It's got to be Zora then.
It has to be Zora.
Unless I'm crazy, is there something we're forgetting about?
No, I think they've checked everything possible in the overworld, and they can't defeat any bosses just yet, so it would have to lead them to Zora.
And there's
Looks like
that
got a
sword upgrade
on the
desert.
ledge. Oh my goodness.
So, book on Zora, maybe?
Maybe. Sword's just teasing him and come and get me.
Just to answer another question here in chat, the 30 out of 40 is just the settings for this particular mode of Triforce Hunt. A lot of the kind of quote-unquote garbage items of the game, a lot of your kind of blue and red rupees, your bombs and arrows and stuff have been replaced with Triforce pieces. There's 40 in the game total. The first 1 to 30 wins.
They cannot finish Eastern just yet without a weapon.
Well, they actually might be able to. Actually, technically they can. assuming it's just normal Armos, because I don't believe the bosses are randomized. Armos actually takes damage from the blue boomerang. It just takes 48 hits per Armos Knight. The other option here, probably the best option, honestly, would be to try to pick up a green potion and couple that with the can of Burna. They can really whittle down the majority of those Armos Knights really quickly.
This is very true.
I didn't actually see all of the items in here. I'm not sure if the boss has an item or not. I know the first item here was a Triforce piece, and then Furaime picked up the big key on the right side there. I don't recall what was in this next chest or the big chest. I know there's a piece of heart at the end. So if it's the map and compass for these two chests, it is possible that Armos Knight has something of value. But it's not a fight you're going to be eager to do, given what they have.
Yeah, MS Metroid confirming map and compass almost does have an item. Big shout out to our trackers, MS Metroid and Trojan Dude, for keeping up with the insanity.
Yeah, thank you for the work behind the scenes there, the tracking, and then the always wonderful Sakura Tsubasa for restreaming. Yeah, I don't know what the move is here. Malle heading up to Hera here. We have Dragonmaster heading into that mini Moldarm cave, which I guess is now like the Moldarm Gibdo cave. So yeah, and Salty on his way there too. Both of these players checked it out earlier, decided it wasn't worth it at the time. Having checked most of the overworld at this point, knowing that there's 5 items back here, they're probably feeling pretty confident they're going to find something nice.
Yeah, they do have the power gloves, so they can they can go into the ruby farm place there before you get to the desert, just below the locksmith.
Yeah, that might be, and we might see that happen, because Zora is looking like the answer at this point. Because unfortunately, for Salty and Dragon here, we did see Furaime clear out this room with some clever usage of his Ice Rod. And all he was rewarded for it was 3 heart pieces, a full heart container, and 100 rupees, I believe.
Did you happen to see what was on Lake Hylia Island?
I did not.
Malle did a quick check. It was something red. Looks like I'm seeing mail on the island in chat.
That might be a useful thing to keep in mind for Malle. If he finds the flippers, he already has the mirror. Enemies' health and damage kind of randomized. A little bit extra layer of protection is always a welcome thing.
I wonder if we're going to see Dragonmaster head to the rupee farm. Does he check it? He did check a Guinness. He has 8 Triforce.
It looks like he. Yep. Wow, this does not happen very often in Randomizer anymore.
It's a very reliable place to farm rubies, especially. You have to have the power gloves to get in there, but takes a lot less time than setting up another Houlihan room.
Well, the Houlihan only works the first time too, so.
I don't think we saw Dragonmaster. He did not do a Houlihan room.
Okay. Well, yeah, considering how much money he's gonna need to farm, or he's stopping at 100.
He didn't check bottle vendor.
Oh, that must be it. Yeah, it's definitely a reliable place to farm rupees if you get desperate enough.
Meanwhile, it looks like he's gonna farm up to 500.
Yeah, he knows he needs to go to Zora. Coupled with the fact that he had that failed fake flippers earlier. Don't imagine he'll try to make his way over to the hobo again, but he'll at least probably pop down, do the fake flippers to get the 2 items on the waterfall.
That was some rupees and a Triforce piece, if I remember correctly. Malle going up to see his bad news. Spike trap in the water is quite deadly right now without actual flippers.
Yeah. It's, we'll see if he decides to try to risk it like Furaime did. And there you got bodied as well. That's a very tricky obstacle to get bypass in that situation.
It looks like SaltyPhry doing a hula hand room can get as close as they can to get 500 rupees. Meanwhile, Furaime is like they're gonna go straight to Zora, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe. So he didn't go back and redo the fake flippers, did he?
No.
I don't think he did. Okay, yeah. He just might figure it's not worth that trip. Like, the item he needs has to be on Zora. So he can worry about those 2 items later. Generally,
SaltyPhry gonna hope for 18 rupees on the way. Or he's gonna pick up a green bottle. Do you think he's gonna go make Eastern play?
Possibly. I'm getting to save and quit. We'll see what he decides to do.
Malle just realizing he can only do hula hand one time.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. I don't know why. I didn't know that myself until I tried to do it twice on one save file. You can only do it once. So if he wants to farm up his Zora money, the smart thing to do will be to head to that desert cave as well.
This is a particularly treacherous Zora track here.
And another possible side effect of the Enemizer is some additional lag on some of these screens. Have a lot more moving sprites when you have those fire bars.
Hook shot from Zora. So now they have right side Death Mountain access. They can go check 7 items, I believe. Well, 8 if they go up and go down to the spiral cave.
Yep, that's definitely something.
And looks like they're going straight there.
Yeah, at this point, I think Furaime has exhausted all options. That's why he knew Zora was going to be the next breadcrumb in the seed. Using the bomb to damage boost through that little fireball. So yeah, he's going to find 8 chests over here. One of them is going to be the next piece of this puzzle.
Absolutely.
SaltyPhry. Oh, he stocked up on those potions to do this mini Moldarm cave.
Okay.
Yeah, and since he didn't finish this, with the 5 items back here, as I mentioned, it feels like there's got to be something.
He's gonna be very disappointed.
Yeah, unfortunately, there is one. There's 100 rupees. There's another heart piece, full heart container, and 1 more heart piece for him.
Just toss a bomb there, Furaime. Oh, he's killing the invisible enemies.
Yeah, there's the little ice palace, like, shadow things that scuttle around. I don't know what they're called, but the hook shot really shown its use in Enemizer.
Oh, and we
there's
got a
the hammer. Okay,
nice.
nice.
Access by Furaime.
So he's gonna head over here. He might go back into Hera now with that hammer in hand, or he might just grab this spiral cave item and decide that he has a lot better options available at this point.
I think.
And there's another sword upgrade on the floating island there.
Does Moldorm hold the last item?
I'm inclined to say he has a small key that's going to lead to the last item. I feel like the middle was map and compass, but I'm not entirely sure. The first item was a Triforce piece, and then the big key. These trolley mimics in Spiral Cave.
Luckily, with that tempered sword damage with the hammer, you can take them out in one shot.
Finding another heart container at the end of his journey there. That brings his total up to 13 hearts, I believe. That's a lot of health at this point. Makes kind of a lot of sense considering we've seen so little of anything else. We've got a handful of progression items, not much money. Again, a lot of those typical money drops you're going to see are replaced by Triforce pieces. But that kind of led to all of our players being money starved. With that hook shot on Zora kind of bottlenecking everyone. Now we have Dragonmaster's attempt at getting past the spiky. Oh, he was so close!
That spike boss has claimed 3 out of 4.
And we have Furaime entering the Dark World south of Link's house.
Gonna go straight to Hype Cave. Got 5 items waiting on him there.
And yeah, just confirming that on SaltyPhry's side here, this middle floor of Hera was the map and compass. That means Moldorm would have the small key leading to the last item in the basement. If a player opts to, there's a Triforce piece in the Hype Cave.
A little bit of love and an arrow upgrade.
There's Malle bullying a Gibdo in the corner there with that Cane of Brine. Meanwhile, Salty ascended to the top of Hera. Maybe he just wanted to confirm that the bosses were indeed not randomized. Because he quickly knew to save and quit after seeing Moldorm, knowing that he can't damage Moldorm without a sword or hammer.
Hammer was in Paradox Cave on the right side, Death Mountain. Answer a question in chat.
Yes, so the thing that Furaime's done and the other 3 players are going to need to eventually do is get 500 rupees, head over to our good friend Zora, pay him 500 rupees for a hook shot, and that'll give him East Death Mountain access and eventually the hammer to get into the Dark World. We saw on Dragonmaster's screen that he was heading up there. Unfortunately, there was a crab walking on water, which normally wouldn't happen, but can only assume that it was one of these Zoras that got randomized into a crab. And if an enemy gets randomized, a water enemy gets randomized, they tend to have the ability to walk on water. So unfortunately, he got hit while he was in a fake flipper state again and had to save and quit once again. But
Jesus Crab getting the best of him.
Knowing that what he needs is probably a Zora at this point, because I think he's cleared just about everything else. He's making another trip up there. Oof. Oh, oh, that's rough. You don't want to see that.
Malle going to check out Waterfall Cave. He will not be getting enough rupees to check Zora, so he's going to have to go and farm.
Meanwhile, Furaime's journey into the Dark World continues. We've seen an early pod trip. This makes a lot of sense in Enemizer. Typically, in a normal randomizer, you could make this play, and if you don't get a small key here, which he did anyway, You know you're just looking in the wrong place, but in Randomizer, or Enemizer rather, those red mimics that require a bow and arrow to kill are usually randomized with something else, so coming here without the bow is not an issue, generally speaking. You'll be able to full clear everything besides the boss.
SaltyPhry gonna go and see the good news at Zora, get his hook shot.
Yep, dragonmaster hot on his heels, thankfully avoiding that crowd this time. He's gonna pop over into this waterfall cave, grab his Triforce feast out of there, and he'll make his way up to through this leggy Zora River.
It's like Malle will be the last one to get Dark World access. He still needs to go and farm enough rupees to get to Zora.
Oh, I hadn't considered this. So Salty getting that hook shot off of Zora that he's gonna need. You know, Dragonmaster instead decides to take that water walking glitch and walk back through the portal, using that ability to walk on the water to his advantage and bypass that spike.
Just narrowly avoiding getting hit in the face.
That's clever. I had never considered that. Just a bomb capacity upgrade for his trouble, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, he's gonna have to either save and quit or hope that he doesn't get hit by this spike trap on the way back through.
Yeah, he might.
Oh, there it goes.
I was gonna say, you might have felt a little more confident with a little more room to work with on that side.
Looks like Furaime did that too. Did the water walking glitch to get past the spike trap.
Furaime continuing his journey through Pod. Really just stockpiling those small keys so far.
Yeah, I think I've heard Pod referred to as the mullet of dungeons. All business with small keys in the front and the parties in the back.
Yeah, definitely hear some players refer to that. With the dungeon layout and like the item requirements being set in such a way that you can never soft lock, you need a lot of the small keys to be at the front. Otherwise, through very poor use of small keys, it could lead to soft locks otherwise.
Looks like our helmet crabs were randomized into a mini Moldorm and a spike roller on the bridge there.
And there's that spike roller just popping over to say hello.
Gonna steamroll his way on through.
We have a chain chomp in the puppy guarding this chest here. And that was the silver arrows.
It was silvers. All he needs is the bow, and he can do some serious damage to the bosses. And boots in the bottom, in the basement of Pod there.
That is definitely a nice reward. So after he finishes up here, he can head north, head over to the graveyard side, and with his boots and mirror, he can clear out the King's Tomb, the Bonk Rocks, and that graveyard cave over there.
Dragonmaster getting his hook shot, and he's very angry with Zora here.
Leaving some bombs for him. I don't blame him. 50 minutes in, just not getting that hook shot, that's really going to open up the rest of the seed. So that kind of is the whole bottleneck so far. It's having to find 500 rupees in a very money-starved seed. So you can see that he's going to go back, probably resupply on some bombs, and then he'll head up to Death Mountain and eventually find his hammer.
No, Furaime looks like he's gonna go go to Thieves Town. Check out Bonk Rocks on the way, see what's in there.
Ooh, nice. All right, so there are the Titan's mitts.
And go and check out King's Tomb now on the way.
So the boots from Pod leading to the Bonk Rock Cave for that glove upgrade. It's gonna open up a lot of the rest of the Dark World for Furaime here. And then he goes and picks up his 12th Triforce piece in the King's Tomb. Another save and quit. Up
it looks like he's gonna go to Mountain Cave. There was a sword upgrade on the floating island, so I think he's gonna go to Dark World, right side Death Mountain, and go and get that sword.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's an excellent idea. Probably the best thing you'd be doing right now. Meanwhile, we got Malle and Dragonmaster doing their Light World Death Mountain. Both of them having recently picked up that hook shot. It's going to lead to that hammer, which will allow them to join our other two players in the Dark World.
Malle can't seem to get by that fireball. Looks like he's going to go up and drop down. Hopefully he doesn't land on the Death Rock. That would be very unfortunate for him.
Yeah, that little fireball enemy, much trickier than it looks because it's just basically perfectly blocking that pathway. Which is what we saw.
Got a flute on Furaime's screen.
Nice. Okay, so that's gonna open up my area.
And very quick traversing on the overworld. Be very nice. That's a very nice pickup. I wouldn't be surprised. He should be going in and getting that as soon as he gets the sword out of after he clears Hookshot Cave here.
Find a shovel for his first item in the Hookshot Cave. Green rupee.
And
there's
the book.
That book. Fortunately, not super needed right now because he did find his Desert Palace access.
Unfortunately, he stunned that guard there in front of the chest. He can't quite get to the grab on it.
Yeah. That's definitely in these kind of situations can make Enemizer really interesting. And there's the fire rod.
Fire rod. All he needs is the Key of Samaria, and he can possibly go into Turtle Rock. Depends on what the medallion is required to open it up.
Yep, he's gonna have a lot of options available to him now. With that flute in hand, his Titan mitts, fire rod lets him get to the back of Skull Woods, and the sword here as well. Desert Ledge also had a sword.
Good bit.
So
he can go and get his Master Sword almost immediately.
Yeah, coupled with that book would open up the two tablets.
We're gonna get, it's like bombos required to open up Turtle Rock. Ooh, he might be doing a Spike Cave check here with the cape in tow.
He's gonna go check what this tablet is. This is pretty smart. He won't be able to get it because you need at least the Master Sword. But as long as you have the book, you can at least find out what it is. It's just couch cash, so he knows he doesn't need to make a return trip specifically for that tablet.
I gotta say, this has been very interesting logic so far, just for the seed.
Yeah, this has been a doozy of a seed, and it's only exacerbated by some of these randomized enemy placements we've seen that have been a little bit trolly. We might be seeing a Moldarm kill from Dragonmaster here.
Furaime picking up his Riot Shield out of the Spike Cave.
Well, now he has he has the Mirror Shield. He has the Cane of Brian and the Cape. He can choose any way he wants to get through that Turtle Rock laser bridge.
Personally, like to just muscle through it, show him who's boss.
So we have yeah, it looks like Dragonmaster is gonna opt to head up and fight Moldorm. He still had the top half of Hera to do, so he came up here, found this compass and map in this floor. But he's the first one to be on the top half of Hera with a weapon that can actually damage Moldorm. So I guess he's just gonna decide to just clear it out.
I can't say I disagree with him here. It is kind of on the way.
Yeah, you don't know, it could be a Triforce piece down in that basement. And as mentioned kind of near the beginning of this race, an entry in Ganon's tower might be required, or it might just be one of the easier options, so might as well pick up that crystal. Sorry.
Yeah. Furaime is picking up his 13th Triforce piece there in the left side of Swamp. The Super Bunny house. And the validation arrow on Checkerboard Cave.
And Dragonmaster making quick work of Moldorm on his round 2 there. Fortunately, got a little bit bullied, got knocked off, but he went right back up there. And decided to bully the worm back, netting a first crystal of our 4 players on the stream here.
And then immediately go back and check the basement and see what's down there. And
Furaime picking up our first Master Sword. Grabbing that second sword upgrade on the ledge in Desert Palace.
Not only the first one with a sword, but he's the first one with a Master Sword.
Yeah, that's true. No, neither of our other players have gotten access to either the sword upgrade.
Getting half magic off the lamp there.
That one sword upgrade he just grabbed on Desert Ledge. The other one was on that floating island in Death Mountain, meaning access to Pod to get the boots to get what was it in? Oh, Titan's Mitts.
Titan's Mitts and Monk Cave.
Yeah, all of that is going to be required before any of our players find another sword, unless there happens to be one in Thieves Town or something.
So far, it looks like Desert Palace has been pretty tame with its enemy placements here. SaltyPhry getting their Titan's Mitts out of the Monk Cave.
Yeah, and he'll head over and check his King's Tomb as well to get his 12th Triforce piece.
Yeah, he should be heading up to Death Mountain also. Pick up his broken sword and flute. And a shovel.
Alright, so we have Furaime entering the back of Desert Palace. Malle taking that west side Dark World portal over to the Village of Outcasts. So this will be our first sight at the Village of Outcasts in the seed. Which is pretty crazy considering we're almost an hour in.
Furaime deciding to use Quake, turn the enemies into the room into tiny little jellies that he can easily dispatch with his Master Sword.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of guards in this room. Really, really causing that frame rate to drop there.
I too play Link to the Past at 5 frames per second. Who needs pause buffering when you have lag?
Yeah, making his way through that room in slow motion. We'll head on into Lammo. Grabbing that green crit pendant for his reward.
SaltyPhry being the second one to get up here and get his sword here in a minute or so.
Lammo dropping a Triforce piece and a green pendant. So we have Furaime sitting at 14 Triforce pieces. So we need another 16 to finish this seed out of the remaining 26.
Almost halfway there, but considering how this seed's been trolly so far, I wouldn't necessarily say that just yet.
Oh yeah, it's probably only going to get harder to find Triforce pieces.
Who in Easttown there?
Yeah.
For a little trip.
Wow, that guard having a lot of health.
Yeah.
I think Malle gave him a good 4 whacks with that hammer before he went down.
That's what it looked like. That armor really doing him well.
Got a tricky chain chomp placement, but he sneaks through there. He's got this big key and small key so far.
Chain chomps are particularly dangerous. I think they do 3 full hearts of damage with blue mail.
Yeah, normally, and then, yeah, 3 hearts with blue mail. Again, I'm pretty sure the damage in this is somewhat randomized, so it could be more, it could be less.
That's right.
And it's usually you don't want to find out firsthand.
Oh no.
Best to just let the chain chomps be. We got SaltyPhry picking up his first sword upgrade on that floating island in Death Mountain. Now, Furaime, Master Sword and Fire Rod in hand, is venturing into Skull Woods.
Yeah, he can full clear it at this point.
I'm finding a piece of heart for the first item here. It's really quick dungeon to check, really quick dungeon to do. So yeah, might as well full clear it. It's a trolley BMOS placement in that Skull Woods room there. Placed perfectly so that you couldn't go around the pit.
Yeah, the room here in Skull Woods being very much more tame than normal, with just one enemy and a couple of anti-fairies.
Yeah, and this Easttown room for Malle is not as simple.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see at all.
A couple vultures, a big old spike. Just goes with the safe play and hits that crystal switch with the boomerang.
Actually have some thieves here in Easttown.
Furaime opting to leave Skullwoods. I think he might have found another Triforce piece because he has 15 now. Meaning he got the 2 items out of Skullwoods.
And a 16th.
Pick up his 16th on that graveyard ledge. So this is where the Triforce hunt game mode can get interesting. As I mentioned, if there's 10 or fewer Triforce pieces in Gannon Tower, which is fairly likely to be the case, you can generally do a Triforce hunt seed without entering Gannon Tower. It just can get very tricky and generally requires a full clear of the rest of the map, so there can be kind of a risk-reward aspect to opting to leave a dungeon because you've cleared out all the items, or if you want to go in there and collect crystals while you can. With the case of Skullwoods, it's a pendant, so... And since he already has a green pendant, I don't think he wants to finish Mothula and the Eastern Palace Armos Knights just for one more item.
No, but it did have bombos, and we know that's required to get into Turtle Rock. Picking that up in Blind's chest.
So we have Furaime making his way through Thieves Town, just as Malle entering the boss fight.
Looks like he's going to opt to go ahead and complete it, seeing as it is a crystal, even though he knows that Blind should only be holding the map.
Yeah, again, as I mentioned, it can be dangerous trying to play the entire seed with the expectation of not entering Ganon's Tower. There's just so many random items that end up there. And with one, we know one Triforce piece is in that Lumberjack cave. It kind of adds a small amount of value to just collecting crystals while you can.
5 and 6 are particularly important because they'll open up the Pyramid Fairy once they gather both of them.
That's true. I hadn't even considered that, because that would be 2 more items, and the 2 crystals were Thieves Town and Palace of Darkness. So that the blind kill is halfway to 2 extra items.
If she's anything like her sister, she'll be holding a Triforce piece. I can't wait to hear from our runners just to see what was going on through their heads when they realized that Zora had to have an item.
Yeah, that was a peculiar and trolly start to this seed. It took about, I don't know, like a little over 40 minutes, I think, until Furaime was the first one to buy that hookshot off of Zora.
I think so. 53 minutes was when he entered Dark World.
Yeah, it took a long time. It was just a very money-starved seed. Basically required the players to farm up rupees somewhere to get enough money for that Zora trip.
Unfortunately,
that Stelphos Knight giving Malle a lot of trouble. Thankfully, he didn't seem to be doing much damage.
You can't normally kill them with just the Cane of Burna.
I'm actually not sure. You can actually kill them with a boomerang. They do take damage from weapons. It's just generally they have like 64 health or something insane, I think.
Oh, I wasn't sure. They just have the weakness to the bombs that cause them to die in one hit.
Yeah, the bombs kill them in one hit when they're down. Otherwise, the Burna might do some damage. I know boomerangs do. It's just very slow to kill them in any other way.
We got some cannon guards there on SaltyPhry's screen. Those are not normally in the game.
Yeah, that's just one of those things that the enemy data was kind of left in the game. They're just dummied out before the game got released, so they never showed up in the full game. Kind of the same way Quarter Magic can appear in some item randomizers. Zarbi, who does the work on the Enemizer here, programmed in these cannon guards from just the data that was already in the game.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary sight to see. Walk into a room and see a guard with a cannon pointed at you.
Yeah, it's just a fun little enemy to put back in the game. They're a bit tough, and their cannonball has like kind of like a weird trajectory to it. Kind of like spins a little bit.
Meanwhile, I got SaltyPhry picking up his green pendant from Desert Palace.
Yeah, he's getting that Triforce piece and that green pendant, which I don't think Furaime has turned in yet. He's the other player that's killed out or cleared out Desert Palace.
Yeah, we still don't know what South Trala is holding. I would imagine he would check that on his way back to do Eastern and Pod, though.
Yeah, he's not hurting for places to go or things to do, so he'll just route it in when it's convenient. Dragonmaster getting an unfortunate spill in Thieves Sound there. I think there was like one of those like skull rock enemies just in the middle of Thieves Sound that kind of trolled him, blocked him, and took out his remaining heart.
Yeah, he's not had the greatest early game, but he's trooping on. I don't think we've seen what's behind Cemetery yet, have we?
There's a Triforce piece. I think Furaime definitely went there, and I think Dragonmaster might have. Someone else did. But yeah, as you mentioned, Dragonmaster Malle kind of a little bit behind. They opted to do this left side of the Dark World first, which unfortunately is kind of blocking them from getting their first sword. Over in Pod, there is the boots, which allows them to get a Titan Mitts from the Bonk Rock Cave, which eventually will lead them up to Dark World Death Mountain and that sword on the floating island.
They're still doing very well despite not having their sword.
Furaime taking the blacksmith home, getting another Dorito for his trouble. Yeah, they're both doing very well, all things considered. Malle was probably looking to actually head over and do Pod. He's going to go straight from that north graveyard side over to Pod. But without the flippers, he can't make it across that river. So we see a save and quit. Back to Link's house, and it looks like he's heading straight back into the Dark World over here.
Furaime is going to check south of Grove Bombos and take the lunchbox.
Yeah, just kind of grouping this South Dark World trip in with the lunchbox. Just being efficient about his overworld movement here.
You're gonna go ahead and mirror and check the dig spot too. This is good routing by him.
Yeah, and our first time seeing the item, it's just a heart piece. There's that shovel from the hookshot cave. And deciding that's not even worth his time, they'll just head back over into the Dark World and finish walking his lunchbox home.
I would imagine he would go from here and go to Eastern / Pod since he doesn't have flippers, can't do Swamp, but he can do Pod relatively, or Eastern relatively quickly with just the Master Sword.
Yeah, he might. And that was the Red Cane?
That was the Red Cane from the lunchbox.
And he'll pop over and check this Bombos tablet. So yeah, the Red Cane out of the lunchbox. That's going to open up some options there.
He can full clear Turtle Rock.
Yeah, you could head up to Turtle Rock. You can get in with that Bombos medallion. Start the dungeon with the cane, and he's got the 2 rods. But he may... Well, we'll just see what he decides to do here. He's gonna go check this ice cave that he never did earlier. I believe he's just gonna get a piece of heart for his trouble. Wait, what is he?
I'm not sure. He did open it up earlier.
I'm a little bit confused.
Maybe he forgot or didn't mark it off on his tracker.
Oh, he's in a water walking glitch.
Ah.
Actually, not seen this one before.
I think water walking. Yeah. Did he not check Waterfall Fairy?
No, I think
no, he long walked from the witch's hut.
Yeah, so there's another Triforce piece he was missing. Yeah, I think he opted to just get to Zora kind of in a vanilla way. Because he realized that Zora had to have the item he needed.
We got Malle going into pod, gonna collect their boots, and Dragonmaster looks like they're gonna be hot on his heels.
Yeah, definitely a good move. Options for those two players are dwindling. They're really going to need these boots here, which will lead them to Titan's Mitts, and that will kind of open up a lot more options. Titan's Mitts block off a lot of things. And then hopefully everything will click into place and they'll realize that they can finally go pick up their first sword. And it looks like Furaime's going to head up and do Turtle Rock. With 5 items and a 6 in the Mimic Cave. This makes a lot of sense. It's a great call.
Yeah, it's definitely the highest concentration of items right now. Malle, unfortunately, taking a death. Was that intentional?
I'm not sure. I mean, he has a mirror, so I don't know why it would be intentional other than he just thought he was low on health or something. So it's probably just an unfortunate accidental death there. Yeah, so Turtle Rock, oftentimes, if you have access to everything to do it, tends to be a good play.
You know, Dragonmaster was the first one to pick up the mushroom. Is going to go and see what the witch has for him.
And there's the third medallion. It was the Ether medallion. Which is actually the key to Meyer, so only one, or he won't have to worry about his medallions, because he hasn't actually been able to check any of them, because he doesn't have the Titan's Mitts yet.
That's just true.
At least he'll be comfortable knowing that whatever they are, he'll have the medallion required.
He's also the first one to do a catfish check, I do believe.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen anyone come up here, and unfortunately it's just an arrow capacity upgrade that Dragonmaster wants nothing to do with. He's like, no thanks, catfish, you keep your garbage. Malle picking up his boots, though. And unfortunately getting bullied by a freaking roller coming out of the wall. That could be... Those rollers are actually one of the trickier things that you can encounter in an Enemizer. Because obviously a lot of these rooms aren't designed to have rollers in them.
No, except the whole length of the hallway you're trying to go down. You can't really dodge it. Malle deciding he's had enough of pod, gonna go check out Bonkrot's and get their Titan's Mitts. I'll be very happy to see those.
Yeah, he didn't check everything available to him in pod, but he was having a bit of trouble there, and he found boots, which does open up some options. So he's making the right call to just leave. He can always come back later if he wants to. So as I said, those mitts are going to open up the rest of the Dark World for the most part. Give him access to Dark World Death Mountain at least, which will in turn lead to the flute, some sword upgrades, all of the goodies really.
I think the only place they can't go right now is Swamp and Ice because they don't have flippers.
That's true. Yeah, we haven't seen flippers yet. They might be showing their face here pretty soon in Turtle Rock though. Or maybe we'll find the bow. I feel like we'll find something in Turtle Rock.
Malle got his Titan's mitts. Looks like he's gonna take home the blacksmith. I don't know. Did he check Floating Island and see that it was a sword or not?
I'm not sure, but he is gonna do something that neither Salty or Furaime did when they came over here with the boots. Let's head into library. Just a bee in a bottle on top.
B-Torp hanging out in the library.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he checked that floating island. I would think that if he knew there was a sword upgrade there, that's the first place he would go.
Yeah, that would make sense. He knows that he can do it with the hook shot, so I would assume that he would be heading there relatively soon.
Yeah, he might just be opting to clear all these out of his kind of queue. They're probably in his mind. He found the Titan's mitts. He's kind of in this area. He figured might as well just clear all these out. And then I imagine after that he'll start thinking, what can I do with these mitts? And Dark World Death Mountain will probably be one of the first things pop into his mind.
Speaking of flippers.
There they are. So yeah, that's going to open up just about everything else.
They have full access to the world now.
Only major item anyone's really missing at this point is the bow. We have no idea where the bow is yet.
And like you said, we may not even need it.
It's theoretically possible, but it's not looking too great at this point. Furaime's in the lead here, or I guess he's tied with Salty at 18 Triforce pieces apiece.
My bow on pedestal prediction's starting to look better and better.
With 12, oh, there's the bow, and a couple rage flashes from Furaime. Well, that mystery got solved before he could really even build up the great possibilities. But he found a couple Triforce pieces, a bow, and the flippers. The Turtle Rock paying off. It looks like SaltyPhry is going to be making his way into... And there's another Triforce piece. Holy moly, was that 3 Triforce pieces in the laser bridge?
That was...
And the
only
bow
needs 9 more. That was a very hype laser bridge.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. But yeah, Turtle Rock paying off huge.
Malle's finally making the play over Dark World Death Mountain. And SaltyPhry is hot on the heels of Furaime, gonna go pick up their 3 Triforce pieces in their bow.
And the flippers.
And the flippers.
I didn't see the Mimic Cave check, but I'm assuming Furaime did it.
He did do it. I didn't see what the chest was.
But I'm sure it wasn't. Is it going to match up to the 3 Triforce pieces in the bow and the flippers already here? I'm trying to think, like, where, if you're Furaime, where do you go after this?
Probably Swamp. Swamp has the most items, I think, out of anywhere right now.
Yeah, it has 6 items. Looking for those Triforce pieces. I think that'd be a very good call.
Malle giving an anger hookshot at the flute.
Malle taking a quick check for that TR medallion.
Oh, he's finally checking the island. He didn't check it earlier, so he's going to see that it's a sword. I'm sure he's not too happy about that, but he's very happy to see it.
Yep. Hour and 30 minutes in, just about. 126. Checking that floating island, finding his first sword. He's gonna pick up some junk along the way. I think there might have been 1 Triforce piece actually in here. Oh, there's the book. I forgot about the book.
The
book didn't lead to anything. The shovel ended up being a piece of heart. The book led to a full heart on Bombus tablet.
Yeah.
And here's that gold chain guard giving another player trouble.
An ether tablet didn't give anything either.
I forgot how good this hookshot table was actually. Yeah, that gold guard. It's interesting to know how just like a minor enemy change there can just throw players off.
Furaime picking up his 22nd Triforce piece in the first chest in Ice Palace.
Yeah, Furaime's kind of just, at this point, he's just in full dungeon clearing mode.
He is in item go mode, but he still has to check everywhere looking for the Triforce pieces.
Well, he actually doesn't have access to Mire, because that's Ether, which...
Ether, correct, yeah.
...was from the Mushroom, which was... where?
Mushroom was on, I think he was on the Pyramid.
Oh, okay. So Dragonmaster is the only one to have picked that up and turned it in.
The Pyramid has arrows.
Didn't see where you got the mushroom. Yeah, I don't know where the mushroom is, but that's blocking Misery Mire. But Mire only offers up 2 items right now, so it's not a pressing concern. Furaime's got 2 more items remaining to find in this Ice Palace here. You can go to Swamp Palace, as you pointed out, for 6 items. Then after that, he might head back over to Pod and Eastern.
Yeah. Pod Eastern.
He's got plenty of things on his plate to not worry about Mire right now.
I think Mire would be a last-ditch effort if he didn't find all 30 beforehand.
So we have Malle venturing into Turtle Rock. Not too far behind Salty here. He does have 1 less sword upgrade. But generally a lot of players will opt to use that hammer on Trinex anyway if you have Master Sword or less, so probably not going to be much of a factor. Meanwhile, Dragonmaster picking up his first sword upgrade, just shy of the 130 mark here. Wow. Like, Slashes and slashes of frustration there from Dragonmaster. We'll see if he decides to go over into Turtle Rock as well. Of course, he still has to pick up this fire rod over here.
Yeah. It's unused bombos. I think everybody got stun locked out of that chest by that gold guard.
Yeah, it's really tricky having that gold guard there, just puppy guarding the chest. So there's pretty much no way to hookshot that chest without accidentally hitting him first. So might as well just completely erase him from existence for that bombos.
No, from their 23rd Triforce piece. I didn't see which chest that was in.
Oh, right. Smetroid pointing out in chat that Dragon doesn't have that Cane of Samaria, so Turtle Rock isn't an option.
No, I think he got his Titan's mitts and went straight to Death Mountain. So he would have to go back and rescue the blacksmith and get the lunchbox.
Yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, it's possible he might just go on a totally different route from our other players here. Unfortunately, with the bow and flippers in Turtle Rock, it's gonna be where he wants to go. But we'll see how this plays a factor, considering he's the only player that has Ether as well, and he hasn't gone down and checked out that Mire area yet. So if he goes and finds that Cane first and heads over down to Mire, he might opt to peek his head into there.
You saw Furaime, he kind of stutter-stepped before he dropped down that hole because he knew the Wallmaster was going to drop down, and the Wallmaster can still grab you even if you're falling down a hole.
Yeah, it's very, very attentive on his part, since that's a room you wouldn't normally think about Wallmaster being into. A lot of players are accustomed to kind of either hesitating a little bit on their way into Mothula, since there's always a Wallmaster in there. But I'm sure just about everyone that's been playing Rando long enough knows the frustration of falling into that Mothula hole and getting yoinked out of the air.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's like Furman's gonna opt to go do the Eastern pod play and get access to Pyramid Ferry instead of going in the swamp.
Yeah, this makes sense. He'll be able to, pick up that crystal, go check Pyramid Ferry. Probably have a pretty good chance of being Triforce pieces. Yeah. Meanwhile, SaltyPhry is opting to just go into swamp, finding a Triforce piece in that first chest that can be something that's not a small key.
See just how many would get out of here.
Yeah, Furaime might be looking to finish things up in Swamp Palace. He might be thinking if he can find 27, maybe even 26, he could risk it and hoping that he'll find enough Triforce pieces remaining in Swamp Palace before he makes that play. But I do imagine after he finishes pod and possibly Eastern and heads over and does that Pyramid Ferry check, he'll likely head to Swamp Palace. It seems like it'll be his best play at that point.
Dragonmaster looking like they might be finally going and getting their cane here shortly. Realizing they haven't done... Have they done... Hammer Cave? No.
No, he didn't gotten the Titan's mitts until fairly recently, and then he went straight up to Death Mountain. So this is his first time this part of the map with the Titan mitts in hand.
Malle taking the safety exit on the laser bridge.
Furaime making good use of that Quake medallion there, in that quote-unquote turtle room. I guess it's not a turtle room in Enemizer, but he turns the 6 enemies in there into slimes that he could easily deal with. Which, he did earlier in Desert Palace as well.
And I think he's the only one we've seen that from.
Yeah, it's a really, really smart call if you have it. The slimes don't have too much health. They're pretty easy to deal with. Generally a lot easier than what you're going to run into in an Enemizer.
I don't even think they do damage if you touch them.
I don't believe so.
Realizing that he had silvers and he can just one-shot Helmasaur here.
And there's another sword upgrade. So, Furaime picking up that tempered sword, and that crystal number 5 or 6, completing his pair, opening up that Pyramid Fairy for him, which will be 2 quick and easy items to check.
I think he's gonna go do Eastern Palace first, though. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, you might just not consider it worth it at the moment.
I think there's only 1 item left to get in there.
Yeah, it's cleared out other than the boss, which does have an item. But it's also going to drop a pendant, and it takes a little bit to get all the way to the boss. Even with those silver arrows, it can be pretty quick. It's still going to be pretty slow for 1 item. Ooh, Malle having a close call on that Trinex fight there. He doesn't have the half magic upgrade that Salty and Furaime had, which was on the Desert Palace Torch. So he managed to hit that ice out of the last bit of his magic, enter the second phase here. Using that hammer, doing the tempered sword damage, which is going to be a lot better than trying to charge up spin slashes with that fighter sword.
Yeah, hammer strats on Trinex aren't too bad, as long as you're swinging left and right. Up and down is a little bit more tricky, it's harder to hit. I think the hitbox is a little bit smaller.
Yeah, and especially up, it can be really difficult to judge the distance. And then the second phase of Trinex himself isn't particularly tricky, you just have to be patient. Don't be risky and just kind of go in for the easy left, right, and down shots.
That's very, I guess, menu intensive, though. You got a lot of item switching there before you get to the third phase.
So we have Furaime making his first trip into this Swamp Palace hub room. Now Salty making his way into the back here.
I think there's only been 1 Triforce piece so far, and that was the first chest.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Dragonmaster picking up their Master Sword there on the ledge.
Yeah, it's a good call. Heading over here to do Desert. So you get him that Master Sword. The half magic. Lambo had a Triforce piece and the green pendant. So there's a lot of good value in Desert.
Malle coming back with a vengeance to Tower of Hair with his Rage Rod, taking out that first room there. With much more ease than he did the first time.
Meanwhile, it's Salty about to enter that Argus fight in Swamp Palace. Furaime checking out the left side.
Looks like Furaime will leave with 25. I think there was one more Triforce piece there in the back.
There's one in that first chest, and then one in the back half. So only 2 Triforce pieces in Swamp Palace.
I haven't... Will Argus drop an item? I haven't seen...
I'm not sure. I wasn't able to keep up with everything that was going on.
It looks like he will, since the compass and map are both found.
Salty going for the Silver Arrow one-shot on Argus. He's a pretty fast-moving target, though. He gets him after about 5 shots or so. And a Blue Rupee.
Yeah, but that is another crystal for him. Furaime will be able to check Human Fairy as soon as he leaves. This is pretty good routing by him, going down here and doing Swamp first.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be able to head straight up to the bomb shop from here. Looks like Salty might be heading over to Ice Palace. Oh, he's gonna go pick up this red mail on the Lake Island here. And possibly Swamp Palace from there.
First forfeit a few minutes ago.
Yeah, unfortunately, forfeit. Racer's saying that they'd made some grave mistakes somewhere. It can be very frustrating to be an hour and 40 minutes into a race and just kind of feel stumped. Especially with the start that this seed had.
This has not been the most forgiving seed, that's sure. We still haven't had anybody finish yet, though.
Yeah, I mean, we have Furaime in the lead on stream here at 24, and SaltyPhry only a single Triforce, tying it up right there. Well, they each got one, so at 25 and 24 now. These very well could be some of our leaders for the whole race. Because given how long this race has been going on, of how much is left, and how much Furaime's done, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not, or if he's in first. I wouldn't be surprised at all. And then SaltyPhry right behind him. Because I believe after Salty finishes up Ice here, he'll just be missing that pod crystal in relation to Furaime.
Trying to do the math here. If Furaime gets lucky and gets a crystal or a Triforce piece out of every chest in Misery Mire and off of Pyramid Fairy, then he'll be able to finish. But other than that, he looks like he might have to dip in again in Tower.
Said having to find 30 out of 40 items, it's gonna be very hard to avoid that dip in again in Tower.
We know one is on the Aga ledge there at the Lumberjacks.
Yeah, which at that point is probably not worthwhile. So yeah, if he got lucky with his Pyramid Fairy items and his Mire items, he might have a shot at not doing Aga or Ganon's Tower, but it seems unlikely at this point.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Triforce piece on the pedestal either at this point. "22 item locations in Ganon's Tower." Is it 2 in Mire?
It's 2 items in Mire, yes. And it's 20... It's like 27 or 28 altogether for Ganon's Tower. The 22 is for the big key.
Right.
There's the 4 more chests on the way up.
And the
As well as a
validation
big chest.
Yeah.
And so then you factor out the keys and the dungeon map and compass and such. You're looking at about 20 items. So
Pyramid Fairy, just like her sister, only having 1 piece of the Triforce.
and so that means Furium's looking at 26 so far. Only 4 more to go.
I'm seeing in chat somebody surprised about the Shroom the Bat, as they say. Yeah, if you have the Cane of Samaria and the Mushroom, if you deplete your magic all the way and then use the Cane of Samaria, then use the Mushroom on the Bat, since the Mushroom occupies the same place as the powder, it'll trick the game into thinking you use the powder on the Bat.
Yeah, it's actually a really odd and interesting glitch that wasn't really like a known thing, but it's kind of made some headway in the rando community because it does have that value of being able to check the magic bat early, potentially.
I have seen it play off very well in a race, though. I think it held a lamp at one point, and
yeah,
that was the only fire source. I think that was a few days ago.
I'm trying to remember. I did one race where it just happened to make sense to do it. I think Race Game had the cane or something, and I just had found the mushroom, and I was in that area, and I was like, well, I might as well do this, and it turned out being a required item. I can't remember what specifically, but it definitely saved a lot of time, and I think whoever ended up winning ended up doing the same thing.
Furaime looks like...
Just gonna head
I'm
up
not
here.
sure I agree with doing Hera just yet. I think I would do Hera as I was going into Ganon's Tower at this point, knowing the number of items that are left.
Unfortunately, I mean I agree, and he probably agrees as well, but he can't do Mire until he finds that ether.
Is it right?
Which came from the mushroom, and yeah, so he needs to go get that ether tablet or medallion rather. So maybe he's just hoping to find that here. Oh, the mushroom was in the Hera basement. Okay, I never saw where it ended up being. So yeah, he has to come here, turn in that mushroom to get ether. We see some Kate strats on Vitreous on Dragonmaster's side.
Just dashing through the eyeballs.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun, and with Gold Sword, it's actually a super efficient way to kill him. If you have Master Sword or Tempered Sword, it's actually better to still use Spin Slashes, but you can definitely use the Cape to help that out.
Unfortunately, Dragonmaster never went into... He never went into Turtle Rock to get his bow.
Yeah, when he was up on Dark World Death Mountain, he didn't have that cane in hand yet. So this is what I was talking about, 10-15 minutes ago. That with him not being able to do it while he was up there, and then going back down to Kakariko, and turning to Blacksmith and finding his cane there. He might ended up doing Mire first. Just kind of it was a result of the way he routed things a little bit differently than the other 3 runners.
Malle making their way through the lag room.
Getting a whopping 3 frames a second here.
There's some more lag to it.
Alright, we have Dragonmaster heading back in to Meyer here. So I mean, you got an early big key and wanted to rush Vitreous, which can make a lot of sense if you find like one of the items early on and know that there's only one more. Can make a lot of sense to rush the boss and just hope that Vitreous has the other item.
Especially when it's a crystal. And there's the other item. It's a Triforce. Some anger slashes at it.
Oh, we have we're gonna see the fake powder on Furaime's side here. Footed over to the town, using that cape to drain his magic. As Terminal explained a couple moments ago, you just completely deplete your magic, and then you try to use the Cane of Samaria. While it's kind of making that bwomp bwomp, like can't use it sound effect, you switch over to the powder or mushroom, and it lets you use it with no magic. And if it's the mushroom, it'll think it's the powder for some reason. Because this is a well-programmed video game.
Spaghetti code at its finest.
It's definitely a smart play on Furaime's side to kind of do that fake mushroom first. He was really probably hoping to find a Triforce piece there, but I think it was just a red boomerang. Let's go turn in that mushroom and get his real prize, the Ether tab or Ether medallion here. SaltyPhry opting to head back into pod and finish it up, utilizing Bombo strats on that turtle room. So we saw on Furaime's visit through that turtle room, he used a Quake medallion to turn them all into harmless little slimes. Salty using the Bombos medallion. Pretty smart play to utilize these medallions in some of these trickier rooms where you have to kill a bunch of randomized enemies.
Yeah, even with Mambos, causing the extra cutscene there with the explosion still is a time save.
Yeah, especially if the randomized enemies, a lot of time you'll have rooms be laggier than normal anyway, which just exacerbates how slow things are going when you have these enemies that do more damage or harder to kill. So
yeah,
it actually can be the fastest, most efficient way to do it sometimes in an Enemizer.
There was one Triforce piece in the big chest in Misery Mire to answer chat.
Yeah, so Furaime should be leaving with 27 at the end of this. And his last crystal, so he'll be able to head up to Ganon's Tower, where there's a ton of chests waiting for him, where he will most certainly find the remaining Triforce's pieces he needs.
Now, if Furaime decides to do right side Misery Mire, well, I guess it doesn't really matter. He's tossed a full cleared anyways to go to Ganon's Tower. Dragonmaster finally making their way over to the rock.
He's going to be happy to find a lot of stuff in here. He's probably going to be a little annoyed that he didn't make his way over here sooner. But Turtle Rock did hold 3 Triforce pieces, the flippers, and the bow. It's really going to open up the rest of the seed for him and really help bolster that Triforce count.
So at this point, you would know that the rest of the Triforce pieces were going to be in Ganon's Tower, and you'd have to go to Ganon's Tower. Would you skip the other item in Misery Mire and just go to Ganon's Tower? Or would you still go ahead and look for that second item?
I think if I was in Furaime's shoes, and what I imagine he's going to do is he's just going to head straight to Ganon's Tower. Because best case scenario, it's in the first chest you look, and it's a Triforce piece. Worst case scenario, you end up having to check every single chest, and it's not a Triforce piece at all. Just in terms of how quick, like being able to quickly check items in Ganon's Tower versus taking that risk, I don't see a point in wasting his time going back in.
So we should go ahead and see him save and quit and head up to... Or Mirror save and quit and then head up to the mountain. Or, no, he has flute. He can just flute to 1. So we got some people in chat already playing. What chest do you think the big key will be in?
I am going to go with the trolliest response I can come up with, and I'm going to say we're not even going to find out.
Oh.
I'm betting Furaime finishes before he even finds the big key.
Stalfos Room has been pretty hype as of late for the big key and just items in general.
Do you got a prediction going into Ganon's Tower?
Since it's Stalfos Room, I would say... Ugh. I don't know. You should be doing left side first anyways.
Alright, we got Furaime, that Ganon's Tower, opening cutscene, be entering the dungeon right about the 158 mark. Probably be seeing him finish first in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, he only needs 4 more.
First chest, Blue Ruby. Second chest, a Triforce piece. 3 more to go. This could be close. This could be just barely a sub 2 if he gets lucky.
We still haven't had anybody finish, so he could be in first place here.
Meanwhile, Malle finishing up Helmsword King, getting his tempered sword. Salty getting a Triforce piece from that Pyramid Fairy. Probably, and there's another Triforce piece, number 28 for Furaime. Oh, well, there's the big key. There's chest number 7.
Stalfos Room.
Stalfos Room. Keys and Triforce pieces so far. Ganon's Tower. Oh, are we gonna see a pedestal check from Salty?
I think we
Looks
are.
like it. I think he's kind of realized that he's left too many crystal bosses behind. Because he only has the 3 crystals so far, which is unfortunate for him.
Just pocket change. All the fire ropes got turned into something else. It's kind of nice to see.
Another small key. The map, a piece of heart. Number 29.
Oh my
Another
goodness.
piece of heart. All right. Hopefully, this chest before the Ice Armos is going to be number 30 for Furaime. You know, we have Malle. It's going to be finishing. Nice. Oh, there's also the big chest. I forgot he had the big key. Totally forgot Gannon already has a big chest.
Furaime finishes 2 hours 57 seconds.
Yeah, not quite the sub 2, but considering that seed,
He was first.
he was first place, and that was just like a trolley first 40 minutes to a randomizer seed. Holy moly. Just no money to be found anywhere, having to farm up 500 rupees to get that hook shot and kind of get that access to East Death Mountain, which gave way to the hammer, and kind of blew the whole seed open from there.
Well, Dragonmaster did go through the laser bridge and got his 3 Triforce pieces in his bow. He was very happy to see all that. He just needs 8 more pieces. Meanwhile, SaltyPhry just needs 4. Looks like they're going to finish up Hera, but I think they've been skipping out on the crystal bosses, so they're going to be a little upset when they figure out that they have to go in again in tower.
Yeah, I think that was a factor in him checking the pedestal, because he realized he'd been kind of playing a little risky, hoping that he wouldn't have to get that Ganon's Tower access. So now he's got to kind of head back here, get his crystal off of Moldorm, go downstairs, get that mushroom. That will give him ether and access to Mire. And he's just going to have to go around returning back to Ice Palace and Turtle Rock and getting those crystals so he can get access to Ganon's Tower. Which, in terms of the people on stream, it could end up costing him a little bit. I don't know. We have Malle collecting the pendants, so I don't know. I don't think he did a pedestal check, so he might just might be gambling on it, because he went over and he did Eastern, and now he's over here in Skullwoods, which holds the 3rd pendant for him.
Yeah, he might just blind pull it. Trying to see if we can get Furaime in here for an interview.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have a mic. All right. Alright. Yeah, unfortunately, Furaime doesn't have a mic, so we won't be able to get his thoughts on the seed, unless he decides to pop into chat or something. Oh, there he is. He's in chat, so feel free to congratulate our first place winner there. Ask him any questions you have. I personally want to know what you thought at the beginning of that seed, Furaime. How did you feel finding that hook shot on Zora after like 40 minutes?
Ack the Boker finishes in 2nd place with a time of 2 hours and 4 minutes.
Nice. GG to Ack.
Getting a blind pedestal pull here on Malle's screen. Just gonna get a little bit of money. Oh, like a green rupee from the from the pedestal. I think we're back.
It looks like we should be back.
Yeah.
So we had Salty finally picking up his ether tablet from that mushroom turn-in. Looks like he doubled back for some potions.
Yeah, well, with the way this seed's been going, I don't blame him for grabbing potions.
Oh, definitely. I've actually tried to make it a habit if I go turn in that mushroom and I have a bottle on me that I can fill with like a blue potion and the means to do so, I tend to do it. In most situations. It doesn't cost nearly as much time as an unnecessary death would.
We got SaltyPhry opening up Mire. Gonna get their crystal and one Triforce piece out of the big chest. Looks like we had a forfeit, and Kyong92 finishing in third place with a time of 2 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah, definitely these first few finishers putting up some good times. A low 2-hour clear time for a hard Enemizer Triforce hunt. As mentioned with that trolley start, it's pretty impressive.
Malle showing off another minor glitch that you can perform with the mirror there. If you're pushing a block and you use the mirror, you can delete the block, or if you have the hook shot and there's something you can grab onto behind it, you can actually clip through the block itself.
That's a fun, convenient glitch exclusive to the 1.0 Japanese version of this game that the randomizer is based on.
Malle gonna pick up their first Triforce piece here in Swamp out of the first chest.
I'm just gonna bring up his total to 22. We got Dragonmaster heading into the back of Swamp with 24. And SaltyPhry with 26, heading into the back half of Mire. This is actually kind of close between these three racers at this point.
Yeah, but Fry's gonna have to double dip in at least 3 different crystal dungeons and finish them up.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna point out. That he may be ahead in terms of the amount of Triforce pieces he has at the moment, but he's definitely gonna lose some time to these two racers, being forced to backtrack into dungeons that he didn't finish earlier.
Dragonmaster making quick work of Vitreous, or Argus, excuse me. Me and SaltyPhry heading into Vitreous. Gonna one-shot all these eyes with the silver arrows.
Yeah, making quick work of this Vitreous boss fight. Just night and day difference between that and Dragon's Vitreous fight, because he went in there without the bow. Had to slowly and painfully slash away at those little eyes with the Master Sword versus one quick shot each with silver arrows.
And then 2 quick ones for the big guy. So I think Salty is going to head down and go back into ice and finish it up, then go to Turtle Rock, and he should be clear to go to Gannis Tower and finish up.
I love the randomized these from Enemizer. And just be the trolliest enemies, and then seeing things like those water spiders just clipping through the wall.
It's going to be close between Dragon Master and Salty. He still has to full clear ice. Salty can go straight to Cold Stare.
Yeah, Salty already cleared out the majority of ice. He just didn't feel like fighting the boss at the time. So he was kind of playing with the hope that he would avoid that G-Tower entry.
Yeah, Dragon Master looks like I think he has to do another double dip in the Turtle Rock 2 to go kill Trinix. And I don't think he's finished Pod yet either. So Salty may still be ahead of him.
Yeah, he's going to be a little bit ahead probably from looks things. Because yeah, Dragon's going to have to head over, do Pod, check the Pyramid Fairy. Probably for that Triforce piece there. And then head up to Turtle Rock.
This has definitely been one doozy of a Triforce hunt, though. Normally you see these things finished in about an hour and a half.
Yeah, this typically Triforce hunt is a bit closer or a bit faster than a normal randomizer on the normal difficulty, but the hard difficulty with having to require finding 30 of these 40 Triforce pieces as opposed to 20 out of 30, coupled with the kind of the trolliness of the Enemizer early on, definitely made turn this into a longer race than what a lot of the runners were probably anticipating.
Yeah, Malle's showdown with Argus here, up left, and Salty hot on the heels of Dragon Master heading into Cold Stare.
Yeah, showing how useful that Tempered Sword is against Argus there. Making quick work of each of those puffballs with a single slash. And 2 quick spin slashes to close out the second phase of the fight, getting a blue rupee and a crystal.
Dragon Master opting to use the Fire Rod to take out the ice around Cold Stare. At that point, I think I would have Bombos, so I would have more magic to just Flame Rod the eyes themselves.
Yeah, I agree. The Fire Rod does Gold Sword damage to these Cold Stare eyes. So 4 shots each will take them out. So You're using the bombos to save some of your magic, and then kind of machine gun firing with the fire rod afterwards. Makes this fight a lot easier than trying to just kill him with the Master Sword. But Dragon Master handles it well. Just kind of slowly, carefully, methodically fighting them, kind of trying to keep them under control. Because they do a lot of damage. They hurt.
Oh yeah. Blue mail will not save you. I didn't see anybody pick up red mail on the island right there.
I believe Salty's sporting the
Salty
red
did.
mail.
Yes, he did.
He picked it up before coming in here the first time. And unfortunately, he's making another trip through Ice House because he got snagged by a Wallmaster.
Yep, picked up in the room and right before Cold Stare.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how Furaime was being very aware of his surroundings and kind of baiting out that Wallmaster because he can grab you even after you fall down that hole, and it's a very frustrating experience.
Yeah, until the screen fades to black, you're at risk of getting grabbed. That just allowed Dragon Master to close the gap between them two even more.
And we have a 4th place finish from Mr. Barry Bonds with a 2:17.32. Alright, Salty back in this room above Cold Stare. There's that pesky Wallmaster. Baits it out, slashes his sword to take care of it.
Revenge was had.
And there he goes. Waits one more time. Make sure... Doubly making sure not to get grabbed again. He's going to drop down into his Cold Stare fight. Oh, just a little too early on that spin slash there. Ideally, generally, as long as you have a sword at all, you wanna start off that fight with a spin slash. If you have tempered sword, it does gold sword damage to all the eyes. Another sword, it does less damage, but it just helps to kind of push them all into that top right corner and really allow you to keep the fight under your control.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun strat to pull off when you do it correctly.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit to get that timing down. A little bit too early, and you'll just whiff, and they'll spread out. Too late, and they'll end up spreading out anyway, or you might take an ice ball to the face and get interrupted.
Depending on how this Enemizer fight goes, SaltyPhry may only be about 30-45 seconds ahead of Dragon Master.
Yeah, that additional trip through Ice Palace really costed him there. So once Dragon Master finishes off Enemizer, he'll pick up his 6 crystal, leaving both players with just Turtle Rock left to do. Dragon Master does still have that Pyramid Fairy option if he opts to do that before heading up to Turtle Rock. Which again, at this point, if you're already committed to going into Ganon's Tower, might not be on your mind. But it's not that slow for 2 items.
Maximum Barnage finishes in 5th place with a time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, 22 seconds.
Yeah, so we have Salty making his way through Turtle Rock, Dragonmaster hot on his heels. Salty able to just rush to the back here. He came in here earlier. He's kind of playing a little bit risky in a lot of his dungeon choices, not opting to just finish him up and clear out the bosses. Kind of hoping to avoid that Ganon Sour trip. Oh, wait. Oh, Dragon Master actually has... Oh, he finished Turtle Rock earlier. So yeah, he is actually going straight in again in Sour. It's his 25 Triforce pieces. So yeah, that means Dragon Master will probably be our second player on stream here to finish. We'll find a Triforce piece, I believe in this chest, and then there's another one in Selphos room. Furaime ended up picking up his 4th in the big chest, which means Dragon Master will need to find one more.
Yeah.
Which we might find one over here on this right side that he's opting to check out first.
Realizing he didn't have a key, and bonked on the queue door there.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think about that either. It's an easy mistake to make if you're in the habit of going right first.
Cross product finishes in 6th place with a time of 2 hours 22 minutes and 31 seconds.
Nice. Congratulations to Cross Product. It's his comment of who put that wall master there. So I'm feeling a few players fell victim to those Ice Palace wall masters.
SaltyPhry finishing up Fry next. I'm gonna go make the quick walk over to Ganon's Tower to pick up their last 4 Triforce pieces. Dragon Master sitting at 27 out of 30. Malle, meanwhile, is finishing up Misery Mire. They'll head over to Ice Palace and eventually make their way up to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, something interesting that could happen. Actually, no, I don't think even mathematically that would work out. Doesn't say Salty is entering Ganon's Tower with 26 Triforce pieces, just like Furaime did, which is one more than Dragon Master had at 25. If he somehow got super trolled and he had to start climbing the main tower of Ganon's Tower to find that last piece, that'd be very unfortunate, but extremely unlikely. He'll probably find his 30th behind Ice Armos.
Hopefully right before.
Or yeah, it could be in that Bob's chest. Yeah, there is a Triforce piece in that Bob's chest. Unfortunately, Dragon Master didn't pop up and check that Ganon's Tower big chest, so he's still going to need one more.
3 more finishers.
And there it is.
4 more. GG Dragonmaster. Finishes in 9th place with a time of 2 hours 26 minutes.
Yep, and we had Lou Dolphin finish in 8th with a 2:25.29 before that.
And Zyrak just before him in 7th place, 2:24.04. Give your love to the runners joining us in chat.
Alright, so we got Salty picking up his 29th Triforce piece. Just gonna need one more either from that big chest or Bob's chest. Meanwhile, Malle trying to deal with these annoying little scuttering critters that replace those Stelphos Knights.
Looks like we got Dragonmaster in here. How you feeling, bud?
Who put those wall masters there? Wow, some of those wall master spots.
Yeah, Wallmasters and Thieves can really lead to some top-notch trolls in Enemizer.
And that beginning, I'm like, where am I gonna go?
How relieved were you to see that hookshot? Or, I'm sorry, how mad were you to see that hookshot on Zora?
I was very mad, because I knew the Zora was open, but it's like, I can get this done if I just farm up enough bombs and get some ice rods for it, and got like 4 shots for a book to get a sword or something.
Yeah, the beginning of the seed was super trolly.
Yeah, it was rough. Once you get going, it's like, okay, now we're going. Except for those wall masters and ice.
Just a very money-starved beginning, and then that hook shot kind of bottlenecking the rest of the seed.
Yeah, that hook shot right there.
SaltyPhry finishing in 10th place, 2:28.22, sniping Big Dunka in 11th place, 2:28.46.
Yeah, I went into Swamp knowing that, okay, I can go mode everything and go to GT, but Swamp's got 6 stuff. If I find a lot of Triforces, let's just look for the rest of the Triforces in the overworld. Because, I mean, heck, we had Triforce Bridge after all.
Yeah, that's the the Triforce. Oh man, Turtle Rock. Turtle Rock turned out to be the mother load.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the trick to these Triforce Hunt game modes is balancing. It's a balancing act of whether you think you're going to be able to finish the seed without heading into Ganon's Tower. And
There are 26 available to you in the Light and Dark Worlds, not counting Aghanim, the Lumberjack Caves, and you went into Ganon's Tower at 25, so you had to check 1 extra chest than Furaime and Salty.
Okay. Yeah, I figured that once I didn't find any more Triforce in Swamp, I was like, well, let's just go to GT and just go mode everything and check a couple of chests on the way. I mean, the one in Ice was nice.
yeah, the Ganon's Tower holding as many items as it does, and a lot of the times it ends up being kind of the trash items that don't lead to progression in any way. It's not totally uncommon for Ganon's Tower to be required in a Triforce Hunt seed.
Yeah. Well, I figured if I could get to 29 in the Light World, it's like, I got that one, I can go do Aghanim right quick. It shouldn't take too long to do. And I know where one is. Did anyone check the the double-chested fairy.
Yeah, there was a Triforce piece in yeah, in the Pyramid Fair. That's the one that you're missing.
Now looks like we got SaltyPhry in here now. Congratulations on finishing.
Thanks very much.
That was a good race. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it and commentating it. How was it to play though?
Definitely quite interesting. It was my first Enemizer to start with, so I've never done one of those before. So just right from the beginning, going into that sanctuary, seeing those Lionels there, I was questioning, wondering what the hell I just gotten myself into, and it didn't really disappoint from there. I mean, I imagine it would have been quite a bit easier had I gotten some sort of weapon early on to make fighting a little easier. But then I was running around just with those bombs, then eventually the ice rod, trying to get into mini Moldorm Cave, which turned out to be for nothing, which that was so frustrating. Like, I don't even know how many times I tried with that, and eventually I finally succeeded and then got nothing in return, so it was definitely an interesting start.
I spent 20 minutes on that.
I was going to say, I think all four of you that were on the restream went in there and decided it wasn't worth it on your first trip. You're like, I got options still, but each player definitely took at least 2 or 3 trips there to actually finish clearing it out, and then all you got for your trouble was like 100 rupees, 3 heart pieces, and a heart container.
My favorite enemy placement was definitely the spike ball in the river leading to Hobo. It got all 4 of you.
Yeah, that twice, once in and once out.
That was good. Yeah. All 4 of you did the fake flipper, slammed towards Hobo, saw that big old spike ball, and I feel like all of you just had like a moment of hesitation of like, how do I handle this? And none of you decided, oh, maybe it's not worth it. Y'all tried, and it's for our entertainment.
And we're here for entertainment. That's part of the reason, isn't it?
And then I think the icing on that cake was that the Hobo just ended up having like a bomb capacity upgrade, I think.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't sad after I got soft. It's like, well, I don't need to worry about that anymore. I went and did the water walk just to get it easier walk by that thing instead of swimming, because swimming sucks.
The other thing that got me about this siege is I never imagined that I'd actually have to go into Ganon's tower. I figured for sure I'd have no problem just finding all the Triforce beasts across Hyrule.
It happens sometimes, but there's so many items in GT that it's like you only need 11 to be have the required GT.
I was at 26 going in there, so I don't know if all 14 were in there. There might have been 1 or 2 locations I skipped on, but
I can think of 28. So, Furaime, who took first place in this race, he went in with 26, but he didn't grab the Meyer Big Chest, which was a Triforce piece. And then there's obviously the Lumberjack Cave Triforce piece that, surprise, surprise, no one opted to grab.
Yeah,
those are the 2 that I skipped as well.
What really sealed the deal for him, though, was going to Pod right after he got Dark World access and picking up his boots and getting the Titan's mitts.
Yeah, Pod had some good stuff.
Yeah, Pod had the boots that led to the Titan's mitts, which led to the first sword, a fire rod. It led to a bunch of stuff, and the flute. So that was he was the first one to grab all of that stuff, and that really gave him a leg up.
Please tell me I wasn't the only one that went an hour and a half without a sword.
I was well over an hour, I know that for sure.
It's like you could see 2 swords, but you can't grab either of them.
Of the people on the restream, you were the last one to pick it up on that floating island there. I saw your slashes of frustration upon picking it up, or maybe celebration, depending on.
More like celebration.
Okay, yeah, you're
Finally,
like, heck yeah, I have a sword finally. But yeah, that's a long time to go without a sword, and so finishing up in another like 50 minutes or so after that is definitely something to be proud of.
Malle about to grab his 30th Triforce, or I'm sorry, is that 28?
Yeah, he's at 28.
Oh,
but there's 2 right there, so it doesn't even matter.
GG Malle.
I feel like all three of those
Probably a
chests behind
Triforce.
Ice Armos are probably Triforce pieces.
Malle finishes in 14th place with time of 2:36.01. Between we had Brewers finishing in 12th, 2:34.01, and Miria finishing 13th, 2:35.03. GG Malle.
GG.
Yeah. Good game. Congrats on finishing.
Thank you, thank you. I was
A
a
doozy.
a doozy, yes, a real head scratcher, you could say.
Saw you getting worried. You checked the pedestal there. You were collecting the pendants, blind pulling that green rupee.
It was a blue rupee, actually. Let's be completely accurate.
Excuse me, excuse me.
Not one.
It was 5 rupees, alright? Not 1.
Very much worth the time, for sure.
You needed
Yeah.
money at the start.
We had Salty. You when did you realize that you probably need to go into Ganon's tower and needed to stop skipping on the crystals?
I don't remember exactly, but there was a point where I realized I needed to find ether, and pretty much I realized there was no chance that I was going to get enough Triforce pieces at that point in time, so I just kept looking for ether so I could get into Mire, because I realized I had to clear that.
Yeah, that ether placement ended up being a little bit trolly there. Obviously, it was the mushroom turn-in, which was from the Hera basement. And the small key for Hera was on Moldorm, meaning I believe all of you visited Hera before finding a sword or hammer. Which obviously meant you couldn't kill Moldorm and go grab that mushroom at the beginning.
One of my many double dips, or I guess in the case of Ice Palace, it ended up being a triple dip by the time I got wall mastered, but it sounds like that happened to a lot of people.
I saw those once, was like, oh, I gotta be I didn't get wall mastered, but whoa, that wall master at the end there right before Cold Stare.
Yeah, I just completely got it, and I managed to avoid getting wall mastered because the beetle was annoying me.
Yeah, I was picking up that final block, and it picked me up just as I was about to jump down.
The best part is if it grabs you as you're jumping down.
I think that Wallmaster has gotten pretty much everybody. See the comments in the IRC. Who put that
There's
Wallmaster
a
there?
lot of wall masters in the comments.
They're it's just not something you're used to, and so with something like the Mothula, like Skullwood's pit there, you're used to waiting for a wall master, but why the heck is there a wall master right before Cold Stare?
Not even the worst place I've seen one of them in the Enemizers, honestly.
I was actually mad that, okay, I was thinking right where I didn't have to worry about looking for bow for like pod parts. Get on right side pod, but then I completely forgot that, oh right, you need the bow to shoot the Ichor at the end. Open the stairs. Because
Yeah,
actually I decided right at that time, like, I'm just gonna go mode things, just get it done. I was like, oh wait, I can't get into there yet.
Yeah, I could have checked all of pod in one go if I just thought, hey, maybe I should check that. Maybe it's not locked, but you never really think about that normally.
Something you gotta retrain your brain. It's like, nah, you could do it. You might be able to do it.
Did everybody have as much trouble with Mini Moldorm Cave as I did? Please say yes.
I spent 20 minutes on it.
Thank God. I felt
I
like
probably
such
farmed
an
up
idiot.
rupees 3 times to get by bombs, and then I realized, okay, I have the ice rod. I get ice rod to 2 mini Moldorms, and then just use 5 bombs to kill the 2 Gibdos.
I think we saw Furaime. He froze one of the Gibdos and decided to use that as a weapon.
I just ended up throwing them down the pit.
Yeah, I
Oh,
actually
wait a
just
minute, they're freezable, aren't they?
I
Freezable.
got 2
I
green
didn't actually know that. I
potions
just tried
with,
to.
the
I just
magic.
was trying to. I didn't actually
No.
know you could freeze them. I just kind of tried to see what would happen, and next thing you know, I'm like, hey, what do you know? Let's toss these down the pit.
Yeah, that was probably a big point of frustration for all 4 of you that were on the restream there.
Well, I
That'd
feel
of course
better
be
about
nothing.
them.
Yeah, the freezing one of them and you like weaponizing them was probably the best approach there, but just
Yeah.
freezing them and throwing them into pits worked out. It was definitely fun to watch all 4 of you approach that room.
I want to give MVP to that crab too, right outside the whirlpool up by Zora.
Jesus crab.
Yeah, Jesus crab. He got me 3 times.
This was definitely a learning experience. It makes you think on your feet, trying to figure out exactly what you got and what you can do to kill some of these enemies, especially early on.
Yeah, that I'm not sure what they're called, but the thing right outside of Hobo was very
Spike-
funny.
Oh yeah, but
Spike
I don't
ball.
even. Yeah, just spike ball or something.
Yeah, I was trying to bait it out. Didn't work though.
I tried to bait it out. That didn't work. I tried to go through it. That didn't work. It's like, okay, I'm gonna just Jesus walk past it.
That got all 4 of you, and it got one of you on the way back from Hobo. I don't remember which one it was.
It got me out of Hobo. And I didn't really care because it's like, well, okay, there was nothing I needed from Hobo, so okay. I figured I was gonna actually save and quit out of Hobo if it was actually worth something, just to prevent it from soft locking me on the way out.
My god. How long did I go without a sword? I want to say it was at least an hour and 20 minutes. It was a long
about
time.
About an hour and a half.
Oh my god.
And the 2 swords taunt you the entire time.
Yeah.
Need a book to get to the one on desert, or flute and mitts. Nope, can't find it that way. Need mirror and mitts to get up to the one on the mountain. Nope, can't get that one either.
How about a hook shot?
Yeah, how about a hook shot instead?
That hook shot really upset me. Like deep down, disturbed me.
Zora got some bombs for that.
Yeah, I don't know how many you threw. It was at least 4.
I threw 4 bombs into Zora. I said, I'm gonna buy bombs anyway. Here, have all my bombs.
Parting gift as I go on my way.
He deserved it.
I
What?
farm up the 500 for it.
Well, I think you were the angriest runner we had. You left bombs for everybody.
Yeah.
I left a few.
Get your green rupee from Sasrala. I was like, nah, that ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, I left him a little present as I left. That was actually my first Triforce hunt. That was pretty fun, actually.
I actually got to see most of you go into the rupee room south of, I guess, the locksmiths, whatever you want to call them, before you go to desert. Not something we get to see a lot.
I actually couldn't remember if I had Houlihan at the start. It's like, did I Houlihan? I think I did.
Yeah.
Not do it, but of course I didn't. I could have saved some time that way.
You did it twice. It's like, oh, there's nothing in here. We just toss a boomerang. Maybe they're invisible.
I learned that the hard way as well. They don't come back.
Is that your first time trying it twice?
Yeah, that is the first time I ever had to do that twice.
Unfortunately, when you get desperate, that cave that you all went to farm rupee is really your best option at that point.
One run gets you another set of bombs to use.
Yeah, that was just a rude scene. That anything that forces you to farm Zora money like that is just not a good time at the start. But you all handled it very well. It's definitely fun to watch and commentate on.
After the stores, it was good from there, except for the whole Ice Palace, Wall Masters Everywhere fiasco.
Yeah, at that point, once I actually got in the groove, I was like, I feel like pulling pedestal. I'm just gonna pull pedestal, and hopefully that's a Triforce piece. If it's not, oh well.
It's not often we get to see a blind pull on the pedestal. We was really excited. We knew it was catch.
I was thinking about something to do to retaliate, but I was like, I'm just gonna leave.
Picking up.
I think everybody on the IRC is just commenting about the Wall Masters. It got literally everybody.
Yeah, the MVP of this race.
They can grab you if you're falling too. You're not safe.
No, until that screen goes to black, guys. You're at risk.
It's happened. It's gold woods once or twice, and it's never happening again.
Yeah. Any last thoughts from our runners here before we start wrapping things up?
Who's responsible for this? Just out of curiosity.
File all formal complaints with Willard J. Bradley.
I think he's trying to pass blame off on the V-Corp, but I think he was the mastermind behind this one.
I think he was the master.
I'll be sure to do that. Willard.
He only responds to handwritten letters, so just message him on Discord for his PO box, and we'll get you an address to send those formal complaints to.
666 Satan Lane. That was fun. It was fun to commentate.
That was fun.
Every minute of it.
Thanks for commentating. It was frustrating but fun, ultimately. I look forward to watching the pod.
As well. Good run for my first one.
It's definitely a learning experience.
Today I learned what pain is.
Huge shout outs to our trackers, Trojan Dude and MS Metroid, especially with the losing Actiboker about 10 minutes in and picking up.
Yeah,
Furaime there.
Give them a follow, doing the work behind the scenes there. Give our runners a follow. Malle, dragonmaster, SaltyPhry here. Furaime as well, who couldn't join us for an interview. But their links to all their Twitch channels are in chat there. Really just, it means a lot. So please just give them a follow, give them check out their channel if you are looking for some more rando. And then we got another 3 randomizer races tomorrow. We're gonna have a pedestal entrance randomizer to start off the day at 2 p.m. Eastern. And then a key sanity at 8 p.m. Eastern and open at 11. So please check those out for some good fun. The pedestal entrance randomizer should be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that.
Yeah, so and thank you to Terminal Crowbar for co-commentating with me.
It's been fun. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, that was when I signed up for this commentary, I didn't even know what kind of seed we were gonna end up commentating on. And I'm glad it ended up being something as ridiculous as this. So thank you. I had a lot of fun commentating with you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
And I'm Swerb, so have a great night, everyone. I will see you around.
Good night, folks.